Hey you guys, okay, this video is gonna be a doozy. We have so much to talk about. Okay, where do I even begin? So I have so much to talk about. Like I just, for the past, oh my gosh, like so many years here, 15 years we've been here. Like I thought about this the other day, like, okay, I started this like at 23, is that right? 2008, and then it's like, gonna be 40, and then it's like, at some point, it's gonna reach a point where this has been like, I've been sharing for over half of my life. That's nuts. I'm not quite there yet, okay? But I'm just saying, like, it's kind of incredible. And we talk about specific things, we talk about personal things, but if you follow from the beginning, you kind of like get the gist of things going on in my life. And sometimes I feel, since our podcast is so deeply personal and so, kind of to that end, like, sometimes I'm like, I really want to, still do all that here, which I do feel like we have a good mix of that. It's a very specific here with like beauty, and we show things and we kind of hang out and do what we've done over the last 15 years here. But sometimes I'm not like, oh my gosh, like this is what's been going on, because we do that weekly on the podcast, and honestly sometimes share too much. And then I see, kind of where things have become, right? Like you look over the past 15 years, like, okay, blogs were king. If you didn't have a blog, it's like, what are you doing? Then it was like, why do you have a blog? Then it was like, you have to just share this, short form, long form, back to short form, back to long form. And it's just like, I refuse, and I'm just going to do what I want to do. And, I don't pay to promote things. I don't like beg people to subscribe. It's just, I'm here and that's great. And I love it. And I feel that like it has been a minute since we have just connected here. I have some health updates. I have some personal things. I have so many of your questions that I'm going to answer. I have some something that's like changed my life this week, and it's not like a silly, like, let me show you this product. It's literally like, okay, we'll get there. But I just wanted to truly just catch up. And again, with the podcasting, now the medium is like, you have a podcast and then you post the video on YouTube. And I remember I thought that was so incredibly redundant, because I'm like, well, essentially that's what I've been doing here. This could essentially be a podcast. You could be listening to this in a car, which for years I remember I have a friend that literally only would listen to my videos like in the car, because she's like busy. She's like, I don't sit and watch. I can relate to that. That's why I love podcasts so much. I have never watched a video podcast. I just don't get it. If I'm going to watch a YouTube video, that's what I do. If I'm going to listen to a podcast, I listen to a podcast while I'm doing something. So that's why we don't really do that. But at the same time, I feel like we kind of get that here too. If you know what I mean? We've toyed with the idea of maybe filming the podcast at some point, and we might. But I don't know. I feel like the majority of our listeners are our listeners. And like, I just like to always do, and maybe this is not selfish, but I just don't want to play to like what I feel is popular, or, oh, I have to do this. I've always done what I'm interested in. From the time I started my channel, from the reviews I used, the makeup products I used, I was creating content that I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to make a video that I would want to watch. And that's what I think everyone should do, So it's like, you don't have to just follow and do what you think you should do, okay, whatever. So we might get there one day, I don't know. But in the meantime, I'm kind of like, that's what this is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when we do, okay, whatever, you feel me. So that's kind of what we're doing today. YouTube, non-podcast podcast, I don't know. Okay, anyways, follow our real podcast, because it's actually like, the podcast is like 3 years in, which is crazy. And it just gets better and better, and I really love it. Okay, I was gonna do a get ready with me this morning, and then answer questions as I went. You guys submitted a ton of questions. I don't want to look at them. I feel, and I've learned this, when Brad and I do the podcast, we don't have an outline. We just go. It's natural. I'm a podcast listener, okay? So I'm naturally like, not comparing, but I know what's good. I know what's not, and you can just tell when something is so forced, or like, even with me in my life, I've found that when I ever rehearse something, it never translates. I'll never get that back. Why rehearse it? Because I'll never memorize it and just regurgitate it. That's not real. I just want to just speak about it. And if I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, I shouldn't be talking about it anyways, right? So that's kind of what our podcast is, and listening to it, it's so natural, it flows, and I feel like the points hit. And I kind of want to do that here with these questions. Anytime I ever do a Q&A, I don't read them ahead of time, because then you get in your mind, then you start like, oh, I need to say this about that, and then you forget, and then it's like, what am I really doing here? You know what I mean? I just want to have like a real conversation. Okay, so I was gonna do like a get ready with me. This morning was a little chaotic, and I was just like, I just need to get ready, and I don't have time to sit and do all that. So I thought we would just sit here because I do have a few things to show you, and I thought we need to just talk, okay? I don't need to be distracted with like the makeup. We'll do that soon at some point, because I think we're gonna have so many that we probably won't get through. But as far as what's going on with me personally, like, okay, my foot and everything is fine. My doctor said slowly come out of the boot. I fully come out of the boot, but I'm slow going. I had to go to the hospital the other day for an appointment, and I was like, I was like, no problem. I'm not kidding. Thank God I was 45 minutes early for my appointment, because it took me the full 45 minutes to maneuver, like, the little lady's like whooshing past me, okay? And I'm just like, getting it in there. But something has like truly changed my life. Okay, so with my foot, and after you like break a foot or have a break, you guys know what I'm saying, it's swollen. It's gonna be swollen for a long time. The foot has like expanded. My ankle is like twice the size of the other one. Don't wear comfy shoes. You can't put your foot in a sneaker because this part doesn't fit. Okay. Really wish I would have. See, this is the bad foot. You can see it is massive, okay? And it's tough. And it's like, what the heck do I put? It's tough because I'm like, what the heck do I wear? I ordered these little like orthopedic shoes from Amazon that were like house shoes, because I'm like, I need something with an arch support to wear around the house. They were like wide, okay? I bought them in a wide. They're like so constricting here that I'm like, okay, that ain't gonna work. So I've just been fully wearing these. I know that's probably not the best thing around the house, but literally nothing else is fitting me. The only shoes, and I mean only shoes in my closet that I can wear are these. Aren't we glad that we bought these orthopedic dad sandals? Because you can like, you can adjust this. And this part is so incredibly wide that it works. But after walking in these the other day, which like kind of no arch support, so I was like in pain when I took them off at the end of the day. My foot was like swollen around them. I ordered these because I liked these from before, these Steve Madden ones. Okay, I know these look like Fozzie Bear feet. I know they're cute. I could adjust them, but the problem is the footbed, like where they come up right here, that's literally like in the middle. It's hitting like in the middle of my foot. My foot is like bending up. Okay, so these don't work. I thought they did. They don't. I ordered these sneakers. Now, you guys, best sneakers on earth. Now, okay, I've heard people talk about these On Cloud sneaker. These are like so lightweight. These are amazing, okay? Best sneakers ever. And you can like really get your foot in there. Now, listen, naturally my feet are wide anyways. These feel like a dream. I think I'm about a month away from fully being able to like put the bum foot in here. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to shove it on, but it's just hard to wear anything enclosed. But when I do, you guys, oh my gosh, these are so good. And those I feel are about, they're popular, and there's so many different kinds, but I feel like these are the cutest ones. Like these look the best, and I feel like it's going to be a thing that's going to be really hard to find soon. So if you want those, I would snag them. But I was looking and I was like, okay, I want a pair that's comfortable that I can wear, because these are ridiculous. I feel silly wearing these all the time, and they're not that comfortable at the end of the day. They feel fine because my foot can go in them, but okay, I know we're talking a lot here. If you guys have wide feet, if you have any kind of feet, these are not offensive, okay? There's so many orthopedic shoes that I found that are just not cute, we know. These are so, so cute. So these came in a double wide. I'm rocking a double wide, and I'm telling you, she's just right on the brim. Like if it would have been slightly narrower, wouldn't have worked with this foot. And then on my regular foot, it's okay too, because you can adjust it. But these are so cute. They come in so many different colors. Life changed. I'm gonna live in these, and I'm telling you, like the arch support, so good. So here I am, fully like, I'm 39. I want to have my last year, my 30s, be like real cute, and it's like wearing orthopedic shoes, hobbling around, going on my little doctor's appointments. And I discovered something, and I don't have like my full diagnosis yet, but I'll keep you guys updated, because I think it's something that I never thought of doing You may not think if you're feeling a certain way, oh, let me run to the cardiologist. Like, no. Okay, let me tell you what's going on. So when I broke my foot, obviously, you know, went to urgent care, whatever, and then when they referred me to like the orthopedic doctor, whatever, foot, whatever, whatever. When you are referred, you know, like for me with my insurance, like I have to get a referral. And, you know, Brad and I have our own business. Like, we're the person, like, we pay for our own insurance. It's not just like, yay, go anywhere. Like, you know, you have to jump through some hoops, and it's fine. But I didn't know, like, am I going to need surgery? Is this going to be a big thing? So I made the appointment to go to the doctor, to the foot doctor, like the day after I broke my foot, which thankfully they saw me quickly. I paid for that visit out of pocket, but they were like, you need a referral. And I'm like, if I did need surgery, if I need something, like I need to have that. And you have to get like from your primary care physician. I know this is a lot. I've just always gone to my OBGYN every year. I don't want to say this, but like I rarely get sick. You know, she does my physical every year. Like I go everywhere I need to go, you know, but I've just never been like, oh, let me run to the primary care doctor. Like my daughter goes, of course, like kids and stuff. But like, it's just, I go to my OBGYN every year and get my like exam and blood work and do all that there. And she checks my vitals and it's like, okay, bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have that. So anyways, it kind of forced me to get to go see my primary care physician because I hadn't like established care with her. So I went to see her. I'm like, hi, you know, I'm just here, just getting a physical, just to kind of, you know, get the process going. And it kind of made me feel good because I'm like, you know, if getting a little older, you know, just anybody, you know, you need to have one so that you could like get referrals to go, okay, whatever, we get it. And she was like, your heart sounds it's a little fast. I was like, I'm just a little nervous and I'm hobbling around these crutches, you know, a little winded. She's like, no, she did an EKG and she was like, you know, it's a little fast and maybe it's like tachycardia, whatever, I don't know, like where your heart beats fast. So she referred me to a cardiologist and I went and I'm in the middle of like one of those like studies, like where not a study, but yeah, like where you wear the heart monitor. So I've got a heart monitor and it's not like, it just stays on all the time and you get like this little phone. I mean, you know, so many people I don't know have had to do this, it's not a big deal, but I'm excited because in a couple weeks, she'll kind of like know, okay, like, is this like an ongoing like sinus tachycardia thing? Like, do you need to be on medication for that? Is it something else? And I'm telling you, like, because I broke my foot, because like all these different things happened, like I would have never gone to a cardiologist. I would have probably never known that like something was up. This is explaining like so many things, like feeling low energy. But then yet I get all this blood work every year and they're like, your thyroid's perfect. You don't have this, you don't have that. Your iron's fine. You're great. And I'm like, okay, your hormones are fine. And I'm thinking, well, shit, like what could it be? You know what I mean? And sometimes your first instinct isn't like, oh, it's my heart, you know? And it's nothing like dangerous, like it's fully treatable. Like she was like, yeah, everything else great, like nothing alarming, you know? So it's good, it's good. But what I'm saying is like, you know, dang, like what a week. But anywho, just kind of something to, I don't know, I'm just kind of updating you guys on some things. I'll link what I'm wearing. This is the free gift that I got with my Melinda Maria purchase when I got my opal hoops. Look how pretty these are. Don't look at my nails. I just took my nails off and I need to redo them. Okay. These are kind of like the blue opals, but they have the white ones too. I love opals. They're so pretty. But anyways, with that, I got the free gift. Whenever they do a free gift, I always like jump on that. This is fully a brand I like buy and I love. And if you've ordered Melinda Maria stuff, which I know you guys have. Oh, I thought I was wearing my big hoops. I'm not. These are Melinda Maria hoops. These sell out a lot and they have them in stock now, so grab them. But you know, the big ass hoops, they're literally called big ass hoops, the badass hoops, you know, the Gigi hoops, the not your mom, not your average mom hoops, like all those. So good. I'm obsessed with this brand, okay? But I had just always like, you know, you order, you check out, whatever, and I wasn't like signing into an account, and I didn't realize that like based on my email, it was keeping up with my purchases and my points. And so I created an account the other day, and when I signed in, the amount of points I had for free stuff was insane. Okay, like you can put $50 toward an order. You know, you can, okay, I'm just telling you, if you've ordered anything from there, go on there and just make an account like with your email address that you used to create the order. Go in your rewards and it'll have like all your rewards. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yesterday I posted all this stuff about like the Lancome foundation. That foundation is so good, you guys. And again, like, you know, I did it without a filter and, you know, it was so important to do without a filter just because, you know, and with that foundation and doing that on my Instagram, if you guys missed that, It's on my LTK too. I linked to the foundation, but I posted a reel where I was using the Lancome Tinted Ultra, which I love. I'm wearing today. It's so great in this heat. And it's just so like lightweight and good. I'd used it years ago, and the new, it's kind of got like a new formula. Okay, it's good. But I really, you know, I'm like, you got to do this with no filter. You got to see like what people really look like. And again, like with the nose, like angles, everything can change everything. But here it's always been about like just seeing, you know, what I really look like, what things really look like, you know, lights. And, you know, I'm sitting in front of like 4 windows right now, or 2 windows right now. Like it really makes a difference. But it is really, really good stuff. And it's 20% off. So all the foundations at Sephora now are 20% off through the 27th. Since we're not really doing beauty stuff this week, I was like, I need to let you guys know that because I think that's such a good deal. So anyways, finally, let's get to the questions. How is homeschooling going? So good. It's her 4th year technically, so she's in 3rd grade. It feels like yesterday when we started kindergarten, and you know, I have my degree in education, and I believe in, I mean, I would have never, you guys, okay, we have done huge deep dives on homeschooling and why and how and all this on the podcast. It's a more like private group there, and not private, it's getting really big, but it's like, it's a group, I don't know, I'd rather share that kind of stuff there a lot. And I'm always open here and stuff, but you know, I just have always been like, it's just not my vibe to share every single detail of my child's life for like content, or, you know, let me make a big video about this. I know it'll get a lot of views, but at what cost? And I don't owe anybody that, you know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like that's such a private thing. But at the same time, like, I don't hide anything, but it's great, and definitely not what you imagine it to be, not what I imagined it to be. You get so much more freedom, and the value of her education and the level that she's on for her, not for all kids. Like I said, there's pros and cons to everything, but she's thriving, and it's wonderful. Have you done nose job? Does it look like I've done nose job? Does it look like, no nose job here. Let me tell you, as I get older too, I just feel like you just don't give a shit. Like not even not giving a shit, but just, you're just comfortable with yourself. Like things that you were once self-conscious about, or that, like, why were you self-conscious about that? You know, I've never had an issue with I've never thought anything about my nose. I don't know. Apparently a lot of people on here have. But it's just, I'm glad I never did that. that would have never been anything I was even tempted to do. But yeah, never underestimate the magic of like lights and angles and like your nose and stuff. Like your angles, I naturally kind of go to this side of my face sometimes, and one side I can do my nose and it has a different shape, and the other side it's straight. It's weird. I don't know which side it is, but it's just like rolling the dice. You never know. And sometimes I look and I'm like, oh, you just never know. She has a mind of her own. She changes, but no nose job. This is not a nose job nose. Oh, you've been here for 12 years. I love you and your family. Thank you. That's what this is all about. Like, I just have such a soft spot, and I used to get so irate, and I still do, and ragey and stuff on the Lori that I see here, because I value you guys. How have you been liking it? Natural hair. Okay, would love to hear about hair. Oh, and then it's the same girl. You inspired me to grow out my natural hair. See it before it turns gray. That resonated. Yeah, I said one time, like, you know, I just kind of started embracing my natural hair color a few years before actually like COVID, which kind of came in handy because I was just like, fine, whatever. But yeah, my hair journey was like pretty crazy. I was just like always back and forth, short, long. That's kind of been my whole life. Blonde, darker, blonde again, darker. And I had very blonde hair for many years. It was healthy, it was long. I mean, you guys have seen my videos and loved it. And I love blonde hair, and I liked me with blonde hair. And then I kind of got excited and got extensions because I wanted, like, I don't know, again, there's times in history when you look back and you're like, what the hell, honestly. But they were beautiful and I liked them. But I'm too low maintenance. They were too high maintenance, not in like, but they were, I just didn't want it. I'm like, oh, like I want them off. Be like wearing nails this long and then just be like, I gotta get these off, you know, and then not being able to. So, that was short-lived, okay? They only last, like, I was like, after a month, I was like, get these out of here. And then when I took him out, I was like, okay. And I didn't really like notice hair thinning or like crazy hair loss with him. But when I got him out, I was just like, wow, this is a big change. Cut it all off. And then I got a bob and thought, okay, well now my thing is I'm going to be super blonde with a bob. That's going to be a look. And so I went back and got it colored again. And I had just got it dyed, I think like a month before with my extensions. And it was too much bleach. It started breaking off. And I was just like, F this, like I'm done. And so because I've always had really healthy hair, and that really honestly just like pissed me off. And I was like, I hate it. Like it made me so mad. It was literally just like frying off. And I just grew it out. The DP hue, those color gloss glazes, like we've talked about this. We have done in-depth videos about this. But I would get like the medium brown or the light brown. And as my blonde would grow out, I would put it all over the blonde. And then just to kind of make it like a little blendy, I don't know. You guys remember me growing that out. People were like, what are you doing? Like, you call yourself a beauty person and you've got like 5-inch roots? Yes, ma'am. So we grew that out. And then I just was like, I really enjoyed my natural color. I liked the way it looked. My hair is so messy today. I don't even know what I'm doing. And yeah, like, I just feel like now I'm like, well, I don't want to get back into coloring it. I've enjoyed not doing that. I've enjoyed just being off the grid, honestly, with like having to get hair done all the time. Off the grid, does that make sense? I'm just not like tethered to like hair maintenance, and it's just easy. And when I do start getting grays, I mean, I hate to keep bringing it up, but I'm gonna be 40. I have to say that because I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna start getting grays. Well, then I'll get all the comments like, what are you talking about? Like, you're too young to talk about that. I'm like, I'm gonna be 40 next year. Like I said, I'm in the last year of my 30s, and I'm proud of that. And I think age is something to be proud of, and you're like time, and I think that adds so much context. But most of my friends are gray, and they're younger than me, and you know, they have to color grays and stuff, and so far I haven't noticed any, so I'm holding on that. But when I do, I'll do something about it. Come on, I might go blonde again, who knows. New YouTuber here, how to be successful. Okay, again, like I said before, do not ever have anyone tell you XYZ, this is the formula, because now there is so many people on here following the same formula on every platform, and it's going to work for a little bit, and you can, you know, pay to promote things and do that. That's fine to getting started, but like what you bring is going to be the magic. So don't start it just because you look at someone and say like, well, I can do that. Well, yeah, that is a way. I mean, yeah, that is how you start, I guess, but because you can, but you know, be inspired by somebody, but then take whatever they're making you feel and try to replicate that. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain that. Like, try to do the videos that you want to see, and do not, and I will say this all day, you got to stop following so many. Stop with the comparisons. Honestly, I think what made me really successful in the beginning is that I didn't watch hardly any YouTube videos. I had just a handful of friends, but I wasn't living on YouTube all the time. I noticed if I ever watch too much of something, you naturally start kind of, it gets in your mind, and then maybe you start kind of going that direction or whatever. You've got to just stay true to yourself. Stop consuming so much content and just focus on your content. I think that's the biggest thing. Do you think you guys will ever adopt a new pup? That's so hard. Like, it's almost been a year. Waylon passed last September, and it was so hard for our family, you know, as you guys can imagine. I know most of you guys watching this have been through something like that too, and it's just really tough. My parents just lost one of their dogs. You know, I thought to begin with, like, you know, it is hard, and we have, you know, now it's kind of like not used to being without him, but you know, he's not here every day, and you know, you still have the love in your heart, and things still like remind me of him. And to this day, like, Livy found dog hair like under something in the basement the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and it's just always going to be like a part of us. And even when I mention something to her, or Brad and I might get excited about a dog, Olivia's like, well, we need to think about Waylon, you know, like, we need to think about him. And I kind of like that. Like, she's not just like, let's just replace him with another dog. And I know that's not what the vibe, but that's not what people do when they get another dog. It's not, it's just, you like that feel, you know, and I do miss that. I do miss the feeling of having him around, you know, just, I do. But then it's so weird. I just still feel him, like, because I still love him. You know, it's just so sad. So I don't know. I feel like if we do, it's literally just, it's going to be a thing that just happens. We're not, I mean, we are planners in some way, but in that, I just feel like if we wanted to get a dog, we just go get a dog. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably just going to be like a spur of the moment thing. I don't know. Where are the glasses you had the pink drink in from? Okay, so in that, and I tried to find the link to those. They are so old, from CB2, and they might have something similar still. I swear I think I saw some similar at Target the other day. They're just like glasses that have like little etching. You can look at that on my, I'll take you like on that. That's on the new Roni. Okay, so it's not something that I am even excited to watch every week, but when I do, it's like, ooh, like it just makes me feel good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just relaxing. I do like the vibe. I do like the women. I was afraid of when I saw the girl Sai, who's the influencer, it'd be like, you know, like if you're a teacher or if you work at a library, do you want to come home and like watch shows about like people doing what you do for work? You know what I'm saying? And so at first, and I don't do so well. Like when I see influencers on other shows in the past, or like if I just always have that feeling of like, you know, like I don't want to like call it out, but there was a show on Bravo where there was an influencer, and you could tell she was very just much like exaggerating and, you know, say, I don't know, and then just doing like the poses in the street, which, you know, Sai did that too, but it was funny. I don't know, something about Sai, I really like her vibe, and I didn't think I would, just because I thought she's an influencer, and this is just gonna be, and I know I fully am one, but I'm just like, sometimes when you watch it, it's a little like cringy, you know, and I do like her vibe, and I like all of the girls, I really do. They're all like really growing on me. You pretty much stay out of YouTube drama, but I'm not gonna, okay. No, I'm not gonna, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna say the person's name. They wanted me to talk about a certain person. And that's how I stay out of YouTube drama. I'm not gonna give my opinion on a certain person. Whoever you asked about, lovely. I mean, lovely. And that's the thing, like, I just don't, and I've gotten this question literally since like almost day one on here, and here's the question, is there even still YouTube drama? YouTube drama? Like, are we kidding? Are we joking? Like, if you don't want drama, like, turn it off. If there's any drama, it's because you said something stupid or you did something dumb, then come on and talk about it. Or, but getting involved in other people, no. Listen, I got a real life. Like, I can't do that. Like, there's enough stuff to worry about in real life. Like, hell no, I'm not worried about people on the internet. But most people that I've met are lovely, and the thing is, like, and even if someone is a little strange or rubs me a little bit the wrong way, like, that's life. And I'm sure they're wonderful and great, and who cares? And I think a lot of the drama on YouTube, you gotta look. If someone has too much YouTube drama, what are they really bringing to YouTube? Do you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to have that to create content. And when you do, you need to, like, evaluate, like, what are you doing? Like, if you're just desperate for drama because that's gonna bring attention, that's not like a sustainable thing. Someone asked me about the Bethany and Rachel interview, and it's like, my God, should we just hunker down and talk about this until the end of all eternity? I have so many more questions, you guys. We'll do it during the you could get ready with me soon. But let's talk about this. So we dove deep into this on the podcast. If you guys like these conversations, this is like what our podcast is. It's very, very deep about like this kind of stuff and just all kinds of things. But, okay. With this whole thing, there's just a few takeaways. I'm not going to break down all of it because we fully did on the podcast. We said some things, even last week before the interview dropped, we knew some stuff and like talked about a few things there, but we really broke it down in Wednesday's episode this week, so you can check that out. But my biggest thing is obviously what everyone's saying about, you know, if Bethany is calling for, you know, representation, you know, no representation without compensation. Listen, I like to be paid. I'm not dumb, but at the same time, nobody's being trafficked. If I'm on a reality show and they're giving me $300,000, if they're giving me $600,000 to $800,000, if they're giving me $50,000 and I've agreed to that, I mean, which rumor is that she made a lot of money. Yeah, you were paid for your time. I do believe she's calling to unionize, but then also in the lawsuit, like sprinkling in other things about reality TV, like but this happened and people are forced to do this, and this can be, you're being paid or rewarded for bad behavior. Is production behind this? Is this damaging? I think these are two separate issues, and I think the things that do need to be covered and addressed, these women do need royalties. If they decide to sell, the first season of Real Housewives of Orange County to Netflix or something, I don't know what I'm talking about. Then Vicki Gunvalson should make some money if a lot of people are gonna be watching it. Do you know what I mean? So have some royalties, but at the same time, I think what people don't understand is these women, and I'm just speaking to Bravo, okay? I feel like Bravo was very heavily targeted during this, but Bravo I don't think necessarily is the problem. I think that there's a lot of other reality shows where people are paid much less and may have different conditions that we don't really know about. And honestly, I don't know if she can speak to, because does she know? She's been pitching reality shows from a production standpoint. Is it hypocritical? That's where I am just where this is concerned, it's just a lot of hypocrisy. But I do feel like a lot of the real things that do need to be covered, that do need to be addressed, have them be able to get royalties, have them be able to have, some access to some health care. Okay, great. Well, that ain't gonna happen, because the whole rest of the lawsuit has literally been crushed from this one interview that she did with Rachel. Because if she had lawyers, she had all these people, why didn't they tell her not to do this? Because there was a lot of hypocrisy. There was a lot of things that she said that didn't make sense. They're saying okay, well, Bethany said Bethany started it by saying she didn't watch the show, had never seen the show, didn't know anything, but she was they're in a bar. These people are in a bar. Of course they're drinking, they're in a bar. But, and everybody's cheating. So what's the big deal with you? Bethany, they haven't been working in that bar for 5 years. So they've been having multi-million-dollar homes, living in the valley for a long time. Okay, so we gotta be on the same page here. This was different, and the difference in this, the whole Scandival thing, and what made it so different is that it all happened off camera. And then when you watch the season back, it was looking for Easter eggs. There was a scene where he tapped her on the butt. No one would have known that. You're watching it back for the spectacle. That's why the ratings were huge. Because it didn't happen on camera. None of it happened on camera, okay? But it was all happening behind the scenes. The show was a big act. And so as an audience, it was fascinating to watch, because you were trying to pick up on different things. And then it was addressed in real time at the reunion. So when Rachel's on there with Bethany, and Bethany's saying and implying that well, how, his phone fell off the pocket. Oh no, that's how they found out. Oh, that seems a little, produced. Cameras weren't rolling. That was way in between seasons. And she had been banging him for a year, what I'm saying? Off camera. So for Rachel to say that was something to do with production, and then Bethany to co-sign that, or vice versa, they produced this. None of it was on camera. So the con here, or the quote, production, was Rachel and Tom pretending that it didn't happen. Do you know what I'm saying? That was on them. Production didn't know anything. No one was trying to get them to have this affair so that they could be publicly humiliated and scrutinized and lose deals and stuff and lose credibility. They did that. That was her choice. And, villainizing sort of Ariana for making money off of it. Well, anyone can do that. Brands aren't going to work with you if you're problematic or, have a dark cloud over your head. And so that's fine. Bethany's biggest thing was everyone is rewarded, right? You're rewarded for your bad behavior. You're rewarded for, the cheating, the train wreck. You're rewarded for these things, but then at what cost is that? What does that leave you with after the fact as a human being? Granted, you've signed up for this. They are paying you. But then, Rachel's yeah. Well, then just in the next couple breaths, Rachel's so I told them I'd come back, but because I've done all these things, I deserve the same pay as Tom and Ariana, who've been on the show for 12 years, okay? Because I did this. And Bethany's yeah. So then they're saying you should be rewarded for the bad behavior, which is it? You know what I mean? It's such a complicated layer of things that I feel in any business or in anything, you're gonna feel some type of way about things. You're gonna feel like things are unfair. I'm all about I'm gonna be paid. I'm gonna be, cutthroat about things. There were times in my early days of this when men that own beauty companies or even companies that I worked with would try to give me the runaround about things, and I'd just be like, no, I ain't doing that, thinking I'm just some little, YouTube bitch just gonna do whatever they wanted. And I was always very headstrong about like standing up to people. I've always been very like, in business, just like, no, I'm not doing that, but I will do this. Or, I'll sign a contract, I'll do this. And then they come back, well, no, I want you to do this. No, you didn't ask me to do that. Won't do that, but thank you very much. You have to like know your worth, especially as a woman. Like, I think like finding your voice and like, I don't even want to say being a bitch, just being a smart business person. Like, I hate that. Like, oh, if you say something that's viewed as a certain way. I'm all about getting the money and getting paid if you are delivering something. And if you're on a reality show where you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, sharing your reality, and you do something terrible, well then yeah, that's gonna reflect. Okay, that's gonna reflect because you are a real person. You are hopefully sharing your real life. And if you agree to come on and you do something bad, not even on the, it would have been one thing if like it was like a party, right? I think maybe truly Bethany thinks this because she says she's never seen the show, so that was a choice, coming on there giving opinions. But I think, I don't say to give her the benefit of the doubt, but which I can't even give you the benefit of the doubt because you're going to be on that big of a platform knowing it's going to jump, knowing it's going to have those numbers. You got to know everything. Like Brad said on the podcast, the biggest soccer player in the world is going to reach out to us on our podcast and say, hey, we want to be on there. Hell yeah, come on. Like, we need you, come on. You better believe we're going to be brushing up on soccer. I know nothing about soccer. We're going to know the rules. We're going to call the little league guy down the street and tell us the rules, draw a map. Let's stay up for 4 days straight and learn every single soccer player in the world. Like, I'm going to know something. I'm not going to get on there and flex saying, well, I don't watch soccer, but thanks. You came on here because I know your mom thinks I'm great. You know what I mean? Like, how great are we? You got to know what you're talking about. And I think, again, to give her a little, maybe she thought that this happened. Again, don't speak on it if you don't know. Maybe like Rachel hooked up with Tom based on this partying scene in a bar, and production was like, go drink, go do that. And then they hook up, and then now she's seen as like a Scarlet Letter mistress woman. That's all right, Scarlet Letter mistress woman. No, this happened literally off camera. In between seasons, they started this affair, and it went on off camera. And the con was them not showing it. So how is that a production thing? Like, it just makes no sense. And I'm really into these things. I am a reality fan. I've seen them all. So I got some thoughts. But like Bethany says, you can't play smart and stupid at the same time. You can't be in the mix making your money off reality TV and then at the same time be detached from it and not understand. Bethany, again, is, I think, a star of reality TV. One of the best, okay? Lean in. You've made lots of money off of that, okay? Off of that platform. Lean into that. Don't try to buck it and be too good for it and say, well, now I'm a businesswoman rubbing elbows with these, like with Mark Cuban and doing all this, and that's what I am now. Like, yeah, do those things, but also like really lean into the garbage of reality TV. It is garbage. Anyone that says it's funny, and it's not meant to be profound. Are any of our lives, if you watched us doing some of the bullshit that we do, you'd be like, what are we watching? What are these people doing? Who? What? So none of it's profound. Is it entertaining? Yes. Okay? And I just feel like Bethany could be the best of the best influencer, the best of the best, anything she wants to be, if she would lean into what made her that and accept and embrace that she is a reality person. Like, she is a reality star. Know the show's back to front. Have the people on her show and embrace it and analyze it and embrace them, rather than starting a podcast years ago about reality stars or reality TV or Bravo shows. She's only going to watch these shows back and have like intellectuals on there, but she's going to act like she's never seen it. Interesting. Well, so what do you think about that? How garbage do you think this person is? She's going to rate these women's businesses. I don't like that. But then say no one can talk about her. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's a lot of, I just wish she'd lean in. I wish she would lean in fully and not be afraid to say, I'm a fan, you know? Because I think people would love her. And Bethany's got fans. I'm technically, you know, here I am listening to everything she's doing. But again, it's the train wreck mentality. You could have I could drop a YouTube tomorrow talking about the most scandalous shit and to have people watch. But then where does that leave me in the long run? You know, you have to like build a rapport with your audience. Like, sure, she dropped those 3 podcast episodes, #1 in the world. Okay, well now people have an opinion about you that's not going to translate so hot the next time. They may listen to what you have to say, but are they going to buy what you sell? Are they going to trust are they going to trust you? And the answer is probably going to eventually be no. So as someone that's done this for 15 years, she'd never take my advice. She doesn't take anybody's advice. But I'm just saying, if you want to get into the space of being an influencer, being a YouTuber, like doing this, I have done this for 15 years. We've supported our family with this. We've supported lots of people, and we've done well. And sure, you don't look back and the views aren't the same as over the year, but it doesn't matter because we've got a rapport, like we've got trust, we've got, you know, I've built a brand of being a real person. And I think that's where Bethany was going. That's why she was so successful. She built her brand based on like being a real person but then what? You know, it's like you've got to maintain that. You've got to be likable. And not that that's like a fraudulent thing to be likable. Like, oh, now I'm putting on a face of likability, because that is garbage too. You know, we talk about that too. You've got to like be yourself, opinions, this, that, and the other, but you have to, you can't alienate your audience. You can't make people not trust what you're saying. It's just a lot. There was a lot of strange things, a lot of rewriting history, a lot of talking about her time in therapy, and all the decisions she's made in her life based on what other people have told her to do, from changing her name in the first place to joining pageants to her, you know, whole narrative that she had written about becoming which she said this on the show, not in Bethany's podcast, but becoming like a therapist, you know, or she was going to work with children. And then like a few seasons ago, she was like, I don't want to do that. That was just something that someone wrote for me. Like that was my script, you know. It's like she's just always kind of just going with the flow, changing her name back to Rachel because a therapist told her to get her power back, you know, going on Bethany's podcast because her mom loves Bethany, calling for, you know, representation and payment and non-exploitation. However, she goes on this podcast, and I would argue that like since the show, this is truly the only time she has been, in my opinion, exploited, because now, you know, is all of the backlash that she gets for this, is that going to be on Bethany? And I've always been a Bethany fan, and I know that sounds nuts. I've been objective, okay? I'm not a blind supporter of anything. We say this all the time. I will never be. It's so stupid to just say, oh, I totally hate this person. It is just as stupid to be so ride or die for a person. You have to be objective. And so anything I've ever said about Bethany or situations is truly what she's putting out there publicly. And I think this is so important, some of these things that they're saying, and some of these things that probably should happen to change reality TV. And at the end of the day, it's a documentary. You know, it's not the same as a show where, you know, you're going on there and getting a script. There are producers because you're producing a show. You have to put it together. The storyline has to make sense. But that's just that. It should be real life. So when you have Bethany and a Rachel coming on there, and Rachel's saying, oh, well, when James got the dog back, some of you are just like, what the hell is she talking about? I totally understand. Just stick with me. But some of you, okay. Rachel's like, oh yeah, he got the dog back on Bethany's podcast, talking about the dog. Yeah, James, you know, and that's a storyline. Now that's his storyline. Now I'm thinking in my mind, no, is that how Bethany and Rachel sees the man getting a dog back? Like that's his real life. That's what's happening in his real life, and that's what these shows should be. So when you have people like Bethany and Rachel who are looking at a reality show from a standpoint of everything's a storyline, I don't want a reality person like that. I want, you know, I think maybe they're a little disconnected from what reality is. Bethany saying all these things about how everything, you know, reading verbatim to a woman who had been in therapy. This was the cruelest thing, like reading to her verbatim all of these horrible things people said to her in the reunion. I wouldn't have done that to Bethany was doing that to prove a point, but it was at Rachel's expense. You could tell she was sad about it. Maybe they both liked that. It both proved a point. However, Bethany has, and it is on camera, so it's not speculation, it's things that she said on camera about people. That's terrible. That I would argue is worse. Bethany's always been kind of like, she speaks the truth, whatever, but she has never minced words when it comes to tearing people fully apart and saying problematic things, calling Luann and people like a dumb drag queen and using that in a derogatory way, and saying things about, you're crazy, you're cuckoo, you're this, you're that, screaming at people. You'll never have a successful business, making Sonia cry. Everything you do is this or that. And it's like, sure, okay, context is different and everything. But if I would have said anything like that, there's no way I could have come on a platform or had someone on my podcast start preaching about how people should be treated on reality television when maybe I had done some of those things as well. And again, it is what it is. I support things that she does. I've always been so like, oh, I like Bethany. Oh my gosh, no, what is this? What is that? But this was honestly the craziest thing I've ever heard that made zero sense. I was so excited when I saw the podcast come out. Could not wait to listen to all 3 parts. That was an hour of content that she drug out over 3 episodes with so many ads. It was insane. Okay, I hope Rachel gets a piece of that ad money. But it was odd, okay? It was odd. The whole thing was odd. And I think when people go on a podcast, I don't think anybody should be paid to go on a podcast. You go on there, you get like you get your own come up from being on someone else's podcast, and you're agreeing to do that. However, if you're someone like Bethany who is saying that people shouldn't have any representation without being compensated, and that if you come off negatively on a show or on any platform that someone's put you up on, and that's exploitation, you should be compensated. Yet here she is having her on, bragging about how the podcast was #1 in the world, which great, like, okay, great, the dream, but at what expense? Did you compensate her? Even if you did, I would argue that her reputation's worse than when she came on. So, is she gonna be... If I were Bethany, here's what I would do. Okay, it's a lot. Again, it's a lot. I would take the ad revenue. We know Bethany's good. Okay, she says she's a wonderful businesswoman and that she's killing it. So if that's the case, I would take this ad money and I would give everyone that listened and that's criticizing, like myself, a big F you. And I would take the ad money, which she made far more than this, and I would pay the $200,000 to Raquel that she paid to her treatment facility or whatever it is. That was what it was rumored to cost. I would come out publicly because she likes to, like I'm helping people, which wonderful. But come out and say, I am paying for, sorry, I'm squirming, my foot hurts. Come out and say, I am paying for her treatment. So everyone shut up. That's what I do. And that's what she should do. Like, I even know. But I'm like, and again, nobody should have to do anything. Nobody should have to pay anything if they're coming on anything and they agree to it. But it's hypocritical if that's what Bethany's calling for, and then she's not going to do that. So I think she could do that. She could get back in some good graces. And again, like a podcast is #1 like that under the guise of like, yeah, that was great. But that doesn't mean people are going to keep listening to other things. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of like, you got to get the trust. It's not just about putting out bangers and paying to promote episodes like YouTube. I could pay to promote every single Instagram post I have to get more likes. Well, I don't. And that's why I have like 5 likes per, because I just don't care. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I could sometimes, but I haven't. But that's not valuable if it's not sustainable, if people aren't truly there. Like I said at the beginning, my value is the community. Sorry, I know this is a lot. Honestly, the value, I think, is building a community. I could put out, which I did. I think I have something crazy, like all my videos over the years, hundreds of millions of views, and there's videos that I have that have tens of millions of, like, per video, like old ones. I have thousands of videos here, and I know that sounds insane. Last time I checked, I think in 2012, because I was telling someone, because I had to tell someone like at a shoot, I had like 150 million, so I'm sure by then it's been a lot, but I'm just saying it does, and again, I feel like I'm totally tooting my own horn, I'm turning into Bethany, but no, that's not what I'm doing, I'm proving a point. Here's the point. It doesn't matter. Like, you could have a huge #1 podcast based on, I always say it's like a train wreck viewing, or like a shock value thing. But then what's coming up next week? How did you leave your audience feeling? Like, are people going to trust you from now on? And I think, Bethany is a genius when it comes to reality TV as a persona, as a person on reality TV. Came up off of that and made her millions off of that platform selling. I think I would kind of respect that platform a little more. And I know that there's problems that, arguably anyone that's a part of it has been a part of. But to resist it so much, to really try to buck it and do something else and really try to, but at the same time, her podcast is about grading other women's businesses and talking about all these women. So she's using that. I could talk about this all day. Like, literally, you guys, it's just so much. And it's so much more concise and so much more, I feel like, on the podcast. And I know we've talked about so much here. But again, like, for Bethany, I do think YouTube, and I think wanting to start her YouTube and doing that and being an influencer is something that she's viewing as like, this is now going to be in my hands, which I totally agree. Again, why do you think I started this 15 years ago? We get it. Why do you think all of us value this? But you have to know the right way to go about it, not from like, I know how to get in this, but you have to have like the heart behind it, and your audience has to be at the forefront. It's not about creating bangers and about creating like wow content. On the outside, that's what it seems like, and that's what a lot of people go for. But where are you going to be in a year when those bangers they're not always going to come right? You've got to have an audience that trusts you, that loves you, not just a blind fan because you're famous from a TV show, but because they've built with you from your heart, or you are a famous person on a TV show like a Bethany, and now you have a YouTube and you're sharing things you didn't share, and you're, connecting with people on a different level. That's how you become successful on YouTube. It's not about the views. It's not about anything. It's about building a community that trusts you, that will support you no matter where you go. And that's not like, that's like a tactic. It's literally just being a decent human being on social media, and you'll be successful because of that. Even if you don't look flashy and have all the big numbers and, I'm the number one podcast in the world. That's amazing. And everyone loves that for her. And people are consuming that. But why did they consume that? They consumed that because of Rachel. But yet she didn't even watch the show. You know what I'm saying? It's like where are you going to go next week? And I'm sure I'll go anywhere I want, sure. But at the back end of that, do the things. Have Rachel on. Have the big bangers of episodes. But you have to also be a person on the inside that is not misleading, or that's not doing hypocritical or making people... Here's what, maybe not doing things that are so polarizing. Have opinions? Oh, do we know we have the opinions here. I love Bethany for that, and I've always said I love how she takes no nonsense. I see a lot of myself in that in some ways. I can relate to her in a lot of ways. I don't know if she'd ever take advice from anyone that is on social media or that is on a part of like a YouTube or whatever. I think I always said, like, when she started doing those videos and the makeup stuff, I thought, dang, Bethany would seem like the type that would have made fun of like me or made fun of people doing that. She's the first one doing it. Like, nobody knows about the drugstore. This is wild. Nobody knows about Wet n Wild. She's the first and everything. But no, okay, been fully, again, 15 years, been doing this. We've seen it all. We've done it all. And I'm proud to say I have been to the Olive Garden. Oh my God, you guys, this video is so chaotic. It's like the podcast this week. It was literally called, like, Running a Tad Chaotic. My battery is like exhausted. Oh gosh, like I want this to work. Like I'm into Beth. I will listen to things that she puts out that I'm interested in. And again, I'm always objective with everything. I'm not a blind fan. I'm not a blind hater. I'm just objective. And I am going to speak on this because I have been a part of this platform for 15 years and about being an influencer and about what makes an audience trust you and, being real. And yeah, like I do rant about things I do, but it's not at the expense of my audience or at the expense of like other people. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think there's a lot to learn. I think in some ways, whether she'll take anyone's advice or start this from a standpoint of like, okay, maybe what would you do on your podcast if you weren't talking about, reality TV? Like, could you start a show like I did, like many people did, 15 years ago, just in your closet talking about makeup and connecting with people and telling your personal stories, and arguably she did that on reality TV, and she was endearing and people loved her. But then I think trying to get out of that and buck that, I'm gonna have my own TV show, or I'm gonna do this or do that, and then she was doing things that, you know what I'm saying? Don't be doing something just because someone else is doing it, or, oh, now I'm going to review makeup, or now I'm going to do this, or now I'm going to have a podcast because that's popular, I'm going to get back to this. I don't know. I don't know what the answers are. I don't know. I'm not her. She's not me. None of us are, but we've consumed this content that she's putting out as an influencer, as a podcaster. It is interesting. It's interesting content that she has provided us with publicly, which we are going to speak about. And I don't know. So anyways, you guys, so many other questions, so many other things. I just felt like today was the day to just sit and hang out with each other. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And we'll answer some more questions next time and do some more specific things. This was the most non-specific video I think I've ever done. I mean, sometimes a good, like, non-specific, just sit down and talk kind of video is so good. And I love you guys so much. So head to our podcast if you haven't. On LTK, I am posting pretty much every day. You know, I post outfits and stuff every day there too, so you can head there. I'll put my link down below and have my Instagram. Why am I doing this? I never tell you guys to follow anything that I'm doing, literally. What am I becoming? Okay, love you guys. Bye.